Good morning, guys. It is Sunday, January the 8th, and I want to share something that's pretty interesting. Yesterday, when I did the video, I sat down and I had like 3 pages of notes talking about step 2. And if you listened to the video yesterday, I said nothing at all about step 2. Matter of fact, I don't even think I looked down the whole video because I immediately started in on step 1. And it's just funny because it was a stark reminder that, sometimes we can have the best laid plans, and God says, nope, I'm going to take you over this way. So, okay. And that's kind of what happened. But I was thinking last night, when we talk about step 1, we admit that we're powerless over alcohol, that our lives have become unmanageable. Most folks, myself included, usually stop at that first half. That's all we talk about, is how we admitted that we are powerless over alcohol. We seem to forget about the second half of step 1. And so I was thinking about that last night. And, I was like, obviously my life had become unmanageable whenever I was an alcoholic. But what was unmanageable? What exactly was unmanageable? And I started thinking about it, and I came to the conclusion that, I just couldn't deal. I couldn't cope with life, with my emotions, with my situations. My existence had become unbearable. And the reason why, once I got into it, the image of myself in my head, the image of myself was completely divorced from reality. See, in my head, I thought that, I was still athletic, I was still functional, I was still in shape, that, I had really high self-esteem, and I had something to contribute to society, to my family. I thought I still had my shit together, when in truth, I didn't have shit together at all. It was a lie, flat out, plain and simple. See, it wasn't that I had low self-esteem. I had no self-esteem. I had no self-worth or self-value. And because of that, I didn't know how to deal with that. I didn't know how to cope with that, right? So I said, I know what I'll do. I'll go off and start trying to make other people happy in the hopes that they would turn around and make me happy about me. So the logic was, if you were following the logic, I would go and make other people feel good about themselves so they could turn around and make me feel good about me. But truth be told, they couldn't do for me what I couldn't do for myself. They could not make me feel happy about me whenever I couldn't make me feel happy about me. But yet, I was hanging all my hopes and dreams and aspirations and self-value on the opinions of other people. Well, when I realized that wasn't working, well, shit. If I was miserable, I didn't want to make anybody else miserable, so I just withdrew. I just withdrew to the only thing that made me feel better up here, and that was alcohol. That's all I wanted. So, it was quite a letdown to realize at that point that, like I said, I could not do for myself what I'd wanted to do, and obviously other people could not do for me what I wanted to do for myself. So I just reached a point. I was like, what is the point? Why am I still here? Why am I living through this stuck in this mental cage of mine called a brain, enduring the same relentless hell? And so it just reached a point where, the alcohol was the only thing that mattered to me, because the alcohol was the only thing that made me feel good. And then I started getting down on myself because of that. Well, shit, I am an alcoholic, but I didn't want to show that to anybody. Again, I wore this mask that I had my shit together, that, I was a functioning member of society, that I could contribute to society and to my family. I could take care of my family. Well, shit, I wouldn't even pay my damn bills. I had just given up. But the problem was I was just too afraid to kill myself. So I figured, hell, since nobody else could do for me what I couldn't do for myself, I would let alcohol do for me what I couldn't do to myself. I'd let alcohol kill me. And, I had just prayed that my family would one day wake up, and they'd find me not woke up. Sure, I knew my kids would be upset, my wife, my kids would be upset, but weren't they upset already? That was the logic in my head. I mean, my son would, he'd see me eating like shit. He'd see me drinking. My kids were sad because I was drinking. And I remember my son would cry. He'd beg me, 9, 10 years old. He'd be like, Dad, your dad died when you were 16. I'm not going to make it to 16 before you die. Please stop. Please stop. I knew my kids were sad anyway. I knew my wife was sad, but I was an embarrassment to my kids. I was an embarrassment to my wife. I think deep down inside, I always thought that, my wife's sadness was because I wasn't the same person I was 20 years ago, because I had succumbed to this addiction of mine. And so, I knew they'd be sad if they just found me dead one day. But the only consolation in my alcoholic mind was, well, eventually they'll come to realize that I'm no longer trapped in this cage up here, that I was living outside of this cage called my brain, and that I was no longer in mental anguish and pain, that I actually had self-worth after I was dead, if that makes sense. That's what went through my head. That's what I meant. That's what I mean whenever I say my life had become unmanageable. I could no longer live life. I couldn't deal with life on life's terms. But fortunately, there is a solution, just like chapter 2 says. And I'd reached the point of hopelessness, of despair. I had nothing to live for. Like I said, I was just waiting for alcohol to finish the job. You look at pictures of me back then, I was swollen. I looked like a fucking tick. If you took a pin and stuck me, it looked like I'd fucking explode, like a bug on the windshield. I mean, I was just waiting for alcohol to slowly suffocate me. I don't know why that was what went through my brain, but whew, talk about the insanity of it. But see, there is a solution. When I came into the rooms, I knew I was going to have to meet God, because I was going to eventually die. So I wanted to be able to argue with God. So I better give this AA thing a good old try. I needed to be able to tell God, sure, I gave it a shot. But when I came in the rooms, I was at that point, I had nothing left to lose. My life was truly unmanageable. And I was readily able to admit that. That wasn't the problem for me. I had already given up that argument of, I got this shit under control. I've got my life under control. I'd lost that argument. I've proven it time and again. And I thank God that at that point was the same moment that I walked into the rooms of AA and I discovered chapter 2, that there is a solution, that I am powerless over alcohol, and my life had become unmanageable, because that immediately segues and leads us, if we're powerless and our lives have become unmanageable, what's the answer? There is a solution, guys, and that's step 2, because we came to believe. And I'll talk more about that tomorrow. So anyway, I'll let you guys go. If anybody listening to this video, if you're in the darkest corner of your life like I was, there is hope. There is someone willing to bring a torch your way, to light the way for you. You just got to reach out. You can reach out to me directly, drew@soberschool.org. Comes right to me. Kind of hell comes right to my phone. There are a multitude of people who are willing to help you. You just got to reach out. Don't do what I did. Don't get to the point where I was at, where I was just waiting for alcohol to kill me, or you're waiting for drugs to kill you. There is a solution, guys, and it's well worth putting in the effort. I promise you. So Ryan, Michael Bragg, I need to have a sit down with you guys. Nothing bad. It's actually be kind of fun for you guys. So anyway, thinking about you guys, I still got my Brotherhood coin. And so guys, if you need anything, just reach out. It's Sunday and I got baseball training today. So, but otherwise, just give me a call or give me a text. So remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.